back at the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. He believes that there are some inaccuracies in his address the other time about the 60% threshold and the Unibank case. Details, page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. 16 perish in Gori crash. That's also a sad one on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Then the bigger story is about the NPP flag bearership raise. Aspirants to pay 600,000 Ghana cedis, and that's for I believe the start.
Yes. When you pick the forms, you pay 100,000, and then when you file, you would pay 500,000. But that's not all. There's actually a development fee that will be determined later. So it's
so you better prepare if you want to go in now. But I mean, all these faces I see here, I think they have the cash for it. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is here, Kennedy Ejepon is here, Dr. Yao Duchum is also here. Brian Achampon, no size.
So if you know, the problem would have been
but the engineer is also there.
Yes. Engineer Japan. He's also here. But you know, they want to make cash alone. You sort all these things out.
Well, no, it's not easy. See, anyway, I am speaking from my perspective. If I was supposed to pay 500,000 cedis,
yesterday my mother called me. I was like, "Could you OPJ £3 and convert the cutter form?" So basically, somebody's capital. At this point,
you know, Brian Achampon was asked that when he was bailing to me that. So you have that much money and you are a rich man. He says it depends on who you call rich or what you term richness or riches.
Oh yeah, of course. Hey, Charlie, the CEO of Rock City, the biggest hotel in West Africa. Hey, my guy, take time. It's,
anyway, but great guys here. Dr. Baumia says he's rich in ideas, so don't worry. I mean, people will support him. So it's going to be an interesting context. We have 5 names already. We don't know if there are more that will add, because the latest to that camp is Kwabena Ejapon, who was here yesterday himself. He passed by the office.
I don't see
with some of us.
Adanimo.
Some of the other papers have.
I'm sure Adanimo will come up.
President Adanimo.
Okay. There's Wachejaku as well in the other newspapers. But I mean, all these guys come.
Even though there are people who feel that Wachejaku would be a very good national chairman of the NPP.
General secretary.
National chairman of the
NPP.
So he becomes the leader of the NPP as national chairman.
Yes.
Wachejaku went to meet chairman and executives, and they said, Papa Jai, President, we want you to be chairman.
Chairman.
Let me give you the Daily Graphic. Study leave abusers face sack. Accountant General bears teeth. There's a photo of Kwesi Eje, the controller, and Accountant General. He addressed the media at a press event yesterday. ADB records 230 million Ghana cedis profit in 6 months. Data in mid-year budget review misleading. This according to the minority. You know, the government has the reforestation project, right? There's a reforestation project about to begin at UGMC. They are going to roll out hair transplants this year, so that people like Winston and I who don't have hair, we can go and get hair transplants and barbers will get jobs. Yes, so UGMC officially is starting that this year. Is on the front page of the Daily Graphic.
Okay, that's a great one there. The Ghanaian publisher is still talking about this NPP 2028 raise. I think the focus now is also on the chairperson of the vetting committee. That will be Adokufo. So it's now official, and of course the publisher is talking about that. Then the minority side is also raising concerns about the mid-year budget review. It says minority blast finance minister over budget claims. Details of that on page 2 of the Ghanaian publisher. Court fines Bakavomawo 3,000 Ghana cedis in the Kandapa case. So I thought that case was over. But it appears that he still has a long way to go. So let's wait to see just what the court would say about the entire case. But for now, he's been fined some 3,000 Ghana cedis for a number of issues which we'll get into shortly.
Now, the News Center, economic gains. Minority accuses Dr. Atuforsin of credit thefts. NACOC hands over $1.7 million worth of seized gold to Gold Board. The Vomawo stories on the front page of the News Center as well. And over 2,000 rounds, 20 guns seized at Garnet Airport. 2,000 rounds, 20 guns seized at Ghana's airport. And the story of Leshego's 200 million Ghana cedi investment in a solar project with the Catholic Church is also on the front page. It is to power 4,000 Catholic schools, hospitals, and churches.
Okay, the Accra Times has an interesting story on the 24-hour economy program. It appears the Chinese are exploring opportunities in the 24-hour economy. You might want to read that for yourself as we also bring it to you. You have the details on the Accra Times today. Then the Attorney General has been giving further and better particulars about the Unibank case. Of course, kicking against all the criticism and indicating why he had to do the 60% threshold. The road to growth, Ghana's economy shows signs of recovery. That's according to the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesiel Atoforsen. But the minority also has a different view, as it is also captured here on the Accra Times. NPP disagrees with mid-year budget review, highlights economic challenges that the country is facing. Then the National Petroleum Authority is also warning against some dangerous practices in the sector, also captured here on the front page of the Accra Times. And SNIT deepens digital drive to boost employer compliance and also pension sustainability. So all of these stories are within the Accra Times for today.
And finally, the new publisher, Mid-Year Budget Deceitful, Minority Exposes Half-Truths and Lies. Akufo-Addo's men would be arrested in Akwatia. Guess who is speaking? Mustafa Gbande of the NDC. And Damit Des Ayine over Beige Bank 10 million Ghana cedi claim.
Okay, so let's get into the online news review now.
Major Online, all necessary force will be used. This is the Ghana Armed Forces declaring peace enforcement in Boku. List of 907 small-scale mining licenses facing revocation by Lands Ministry. We've published that on Major Online. You may want to check that out. No life can wait. Professor Titus Bayo defends urgent passage of Ghana Medical Trust Fund bill. And Forestry Commission condemns illegal shutdown of 3 district offices in the Ashanti region. The Health Ministry has processed salaries for pharmacists and is promising to pay interns. And Black Queens have visited the Jubilee House after the WAFCON bronze. That's there. Joy FM also kicks off Sustainability Month on August 4 to tackle daily living challenges. It's also on my Joy Online. And latest Fitch upgrade reflected NPP legacy, not the NDC government's doing. This is the minority speaking. The national security must end interference in Forestry Commission's work. This is the Anti-Galamsey Coalition cautioning the national security. And Kennedy Japan has officially declared his intent to contest in the NPP primaries. Those are stories from my Joy Online.
Yes, and talking about Boku, the Ghana Education Service says it's begun consultations with key stakeholders on the roadmap for WASI in Boku and Nalerigu, following renewed conflict in the area. Here's the head of public relations at the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Panyi.
Practicals can be written as and when, and so even though the practical will be starting on Monday for the students under these conditions, theirs can be shifted around. You can trust that by the close of this week we would have done all the consultations and come out with all the workable plans. Some of the very detailed plans may not be released to the public because of human life and safety issues at stake.
Isn't that sad? That today, students getting ready for their West African Senior School Certificate examination, we don't even know where they would write these papers. The only crime is that they find themselves in areas that have currently been taken over by violence.
Yeah.
And this is violence that we can deal with. Look, if we're serious about, dealing with the Boku situation, we can. I say this all the time. We know the people who are behind it. We know. But we always pretend that we don't know. We know. Beyond chieftaincy, it's a political problem. We know. But we will pretend. So, yes, GES, even though I felt they should have finish this consultation by now, but like our people say, it's better late than ever. So they should come up with solutions to the problem so that these children can write their exam in peace and then get home. Anyway, let's get into other stories.
Now, I'll take you to City Newsroom. Ghana's public debt drops by 139 billion Ghana cedis in first half of 2025. This is according to the minister. Forest violations. BOG orders weekly remittance disclosures from financial institutions. And Cabinet Japan says the NPP flag bearer race will be tough, but he has support. Now, an interesting story. British National Archives presents authentic copy of Bond of 1844 to Parliament, and banks are anticipating a 2% policy rate cut as BOG concludes MPC meeting. So I'll take you to the Galamsey list, not Galamsey list, small scale miners list. If I say Galamsey, that will be unfair, right? Now, the list of the 907 small scale mining licenses facing revocation has been published on MyJoy Online. You may want to check it out. So this list has the names of the companies, the location, the district, and the date of grant. So check it out. If your hometown is in it, if your area is in it, you can help police these areas, right? If the ministry says that they have revoked the licenses and you go and you see these companies mining, it means they are doing something illegal. So let's help police the system together. So that story is there on MyJoy Online. Now, Winston,
yeah, let's get into the papers.
Yes. Can I give you the UGMC story?
Yeah, and just before you bring that, just to chip in that all the deputy ministers, the nominees have now finally been approved. So which will mean that James Jachikwe will now be Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister. Dorcas will now be heading to the Transport Ministry as Deputy. Then Mr. Coding Subaru will be.
You call the man Mr. Coding. Oh, Mr. Sogan.
No.
And then Dr.
Oh no, we are champion.
Dr. Grace Ayensu-Danquah.
Yes, Professor. Yes,
Dr. Grace Ayensu-Danquah goes to.
You prefer to use doctor?
Yes,
I prefer to use professor.
I think she's a doctor.
Maybe could you use associate professor?
No, an adjunct assistant professor. You don't use that title. I mean, so it means that you went to lecture part.
You know,
Yes,
but there's a jurisdictional problem there. But anyway, let's
even that beyond the jurisdictional problem. The truth is that if you're an adjunct person, beyond your distance, you don't use the title.
So you can be called professor in person, but you cannot use the title in writing.
I saw a post on X saying the woman says she's a professor. She didn't qualify her statement. So whatever be the case.
So yes, but you see, sometimes we know, for instance, that in certain jurisdictions, while you talk about jurisdictional problem, in certain jurisdictions, once you are a lecturer, you're termed professor. If you come to Ghana, where the title professor is actually used for research in an area, and it's normally because of your publications, you don't say you're a professor.
But she says this is a U.S. university.
Yeah, but I'm saying that in the U.S., for instance, Obama, when he was teaching at the university, he was called a professor.
Right.
But he didn't get to the rank of a professor.
So he officially was Mr. Barack Obama.
Exactly. If you start lecturing, in other jurisdictions, if you start lecturing, you're called doctor or mister. Even they don't even call you doctor. They'll call you by your name, and then they probably would add your PhD to it. When you're done, and this is the other point, you see, if you say, for instance, that you are Professor Doctor, it means that you actually have been given professorship in an area, and you have a PhD in another area. So let's do it this way. Let's say, okay, I'm a journalist, and I
have a PhD in communications.
I have a PhD in communications.
And then you go to do your accounting and those related stuff.
Now, if I get professorship in communication studies, I can still be Professor Doctor because I have another PhD where I've not been made a professor. So you remember the Professor Doctor Bo of KNUST, who became Vice Chancellor at Valley View University. But this is the point. You can also be Professor Doctor when you have an MPhil. And in your MPhil, you've actually written a lot of publications, and that's qualified to become a professor.
And again, of course, the debate will go on.
I ask, in the case of Grace Ayensu-Danquah, MD, MPH. So even if you were to be called a professor, it would be because you have a Doctor of Medicine, so it's just professor. I don't need to add doc again. You understand?
You know, when she was asked the question, she made it open that if you're comfortable with using doctor, just go ahead and use the doctor for me. If you want to use the professor, just go ahead and use that. So we wait to see.
We don't have to worry. We don't have to worry
about further clarifications on that. Yeah.
Anyway, let's stay in Parliament. The minority is talking about the economy, and the minority in Parliament has issued a response to the media budget presented by Finance Minister Dr. KCL Atufosin, accusing the government of distorting facts, engaging in propaganda economics, and taking undue credit for economic gains initiated under the previous NPP administration. In a press statement released on Tuesday, July 29, the minority challenged multiple claims made by the minister, ranging from public debt reduction and currency performance to foreign reserves and credit rating improvements. So that's on the economy.
There's also the talk about the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, who then justified the Unibank case, the 60% threshold. It appears that he's facing a bit more criticism this time around from the former AG, Godfrey Adami. He's making the argument that going by the arrangement of the current Attorney General, it appears that the state will no longer have the opportunity to rake in some 7 billion cedis. He believes that instead the country will be having 2 billion, which was allegedly struck according to the arrangements by the Attorney General. And Godfrey Adama goes on to talk about some of the arrangements which he was criticized for by his successor.
Now let me take you to UGMC, and this story is of interest to me because for years the UGMC, even though it was almost completed, was not being operationalized. Now it's been operationalized, and they are making a lot of waves with new procedures. Now the latest one is that the University of Ghana Medical Center will start performing hair transplants as a form of plastic surgery for bald persons by the end of this year. And the World Health Organization defines hair transplant as a surgical procedure where hair is moved from one part of the body to a bald, thinning or recipient area. Now, the Director of Medical Affairs at the UGMC, Dr. Bafu Jan, said the center was in the final stage of escalating the innovation to the public after successfully piloting it. And in an interview with the Daily Graphic last Friday, he said the venture formed part of the vision to make the facility a world-class center for all medical solutions. He also listed procedures that they've done over the past months and years that are largely firsts in the country. And he says that they are working hard to be a quaternary facility, which is the most specialized and advanced of medical care right here in the country.
Okay, I don't know if I could briefly talk about the cash involved in the presidential race primaries of the NPP. Yes. Out of the total of 100,000 Ghana cedis, the publisher is reporting, that will be a non-refundable nomination fee. And then you have the remaining 500,000 representing the filing fee. So when you do that, the math, it appears that some 500,000 cedis would not be returned, regardless of the outcome. Now, both payments are to be made via a banker's draft, and the party continues to indicate that it's in line with Article 13, 1 and 2 of the NPP Constitution, which governs the selection of a flag bearer. Now, there are more guidelines on the primaries, but what is also instructive is that we have Adokufo, who will now be chairing that committee as